Namaste. Today's topic is a little bit different from the usual videos that I make. I always say you should meditate. I keep insisting that you meditate because so many people attend my classes and they learn meditations, different meditations, techniques, etc. But then they never find the time to practice regularly. That's what I come across often. So I keep on saying, do allot some time and meditate. But in today's video, it's something totally different. We are going to talk about the opposite actually. This is because of a counseling that came up a few weeks back. So online counseling. A husband joined my Zoom meet to talk about his wife. The counseling was for his wife. But first he spoke to me and he explained the circumstances. He said wife was about 32 years old. They were married for 10 years. They had two children, two daughters. One was 7 years old and the other one was 5 years old. And his mother is also there with him. That is the family background. And he said she was actually very nice. He's talking about his wife. When we got married, she was very, very cooperative person, and she took very good care of me and even very good care of my mother. So in every way, I would say she was an ideal wife for me. I was very happy with her. Then he said after maybe 3-4 years, in the beginning she was working as a teacher. But after about 2-3-4 years or something, he said she started complaining that she's not able to go to work and she's not finding time for her own self, for her own rest. She needs some rest and all. She kept on saying this. So he said at one point, I just told her that if you find it difficult to work, you just quit. His job was very good. So he said, you don't have to go and earn. So you be at home, you do whatever you want and you will also be a good company for my mother. So then she left her job. She was at home. He was also okay with that. Then he said slowly this trend in her started, that she started getting very involved in doing puja and chanting mantras and a lot of things related to that, reading slokas and all that. He said initially both my mother and I were very happy because she had left her job, and this we thought was a good thing for her because her mind will be focused in something very good. It's good for the family also. We looked at it like that. But he said in these last few years, these two children were born, of course, but then her involvement with this puja and chanting and all that became too much. He said it has now come to a stage where we all are finding it very difficult to manage because she gets up at 3:30 in the morning, she has a bath in cold water and she enters the puja room. And then she starts her routine. She has small idols. She does abhishekam for them every day, and then she does puja, doing all the dressing them up, everything, and then chanting slokas, chanting mantras, whatever she does. He doesn't know what exactly she's doing, but she's inside the puja room doing something. Then around 6 o'clock when the children wake up, she just comes out of the puja room. Quickly she does some cooking and she goes back into the puja room. So she's not available for the kids. He said the 5-year-old one, she can't even have her bath by herself. We have to help her. So he says, I help them to get dressed. They need their hair to be plaited, everything either my mother does or I do. And the mother is not keeping well. So she's not able to come to the kitchen and pack their lunch and all. She's finding it a bit difficult. So he said all of us are so much stressed because of this. Because when we call out to her, she says, I'll finish this puja and come. So we don't feel like saying anything. None of us is scolding her or saying anything. But it has now come to a stage where I felt that something has to be done. Maybe something is wrong with her and I am not able to understand it. So he said, he spoke to one friend of his, or like a family doctor. That person is a doctor, a medical doctor, and he's more like a family doctor. Anything they consult him. So he spoke to him and said, see, this is how it is at home. She's all the time in the puja room and all of us are suffering. Children go to school without even being properly dressed, and the servant maid who comes to clean the house, she sometimes helps in packing the lunch, or he says, I do it myself. Sometimes I have to leave very early for office, then I'm not there. So it's all a chaos in the morning. So he explained all this to his doctor friend, and the doctor said, it looks like your wife has OCD. So this person says, I got a shock because I never thought she had any problem like that. I only thought that her mind is somewhere not okay, it's a little imbalanced. But when he said OCD, I said, what do you mean by OCD? OCD is it's not a disease, it's a kind of imbalance in the mind. where a person gets obsessed most of the time with cleanliness. So they keep on having bath, or they keep on washing their hands, or they sweep and swap the house again and again, or even when they lock their house, they will go there and see 4 or 5 times they will check to see whether they locked it properly. This is a kind of problem with the mind. Some people have this, and then with treatment it comes down, all that. It's everything to do with the mind only. So the doctor said, this is a kind of OCD, and I would call it a spiritual OCD, he said. That was a new term, first time I'm hearing that, but it was very interesting. And this man said, when he said spiritual OCD, I was like stunned. He said, what is this? It sounds so weird. And the doctor said, it's something to do with her mind. So take her to a psychologist who can also look at it spiritually and understand what's happening to her. That is how it will work, because medicines may not work for her. Then he said, that is why I wanted to meet you. He said, because I'm a spiritual healer, spiritual psychologist, you can say. So then he described all this and said, now I want you to talk to my wife and find out what is wrong with her. So I said, okay. And then the wife joined in the Zoom meeting. And I spoke to her. I said, see, your husband told me about the background at home and what is happening with you and all that. Then I asked her, why are you doing this? You must understand that your children are suffering, isn't it? Then she said, yes, ma'am, I fully understand that what I'm doing is not right. She said, every time I go into the puja room, I tell myself I will just finish this and then come out and then start helping my children to get ready and do things at home. But once I'm inside the puja room, she says, the same slokas, I repeat them again and again. I feel like reading it. I feel I have not read it properly. So I have to read it all over again. So then again I start reading. So the time goes off like that. And she said, I come out at 6 o'clock only to wake up the children and do some cooking, but I'm not able to concentrate because my mind is only in the puja. Then certain mantras she chants, and she says, I don't get satisfied at all. Again and again I want to chant, so I keep on chanting. So the time goes off like that. I don't know how to come out of this. I really want to come out of this and keep it a little limited and balanced. Then I explained to her that, see, doing puja is very good. Doing chanting mantras is also definitely very good, and meditation, of course, is above all this. It's really good. I'm the first person to acknowledge all that. But at the same time, I always say your responsibilities, your duties are much more important than the time that you spend for yourself. There's no other way of looking at it, because if you're in a samsara, if you're living with a family, especially with this lady, with the especially with this lady, when she has 2 small children, whatever she wants to do by way of puja or chanting mantras, it should be done in her own time, without causing any discomfort or difficulty for the family members. So getting up at 3:30 doing things is okay, but 6 o'clock once she wakes up the children, I told her, then you have to spend some time there. Help them to have their bath, help them to get dressed properly for school, plait their hair, and then pack their lunch, make them eat something properly and talk to them, and then send them to school. And evening also, at 4 o'clock she goes into the puja room, and then she is there till 7, 8. And then finally they just wait for her to come out, because the mother-in-law is not in a position to go and stand and do any cooking. She's not well. So the husband says, sometimes I come late from the office, the children are just sitting there without even eating dinner. Then she comes out at 7 o'clock, 7:38, whenever she feels like, and quickly she makes something and gives them. So we are finding it, that's what he said. When I asked her, she said, yes, that is true. I also want to balance it, but I don't know what to do. Then I explained to her, see, when you are living with a family, in a family life, you can't take away so much time for yourself, no matter how good you feel about it. And repeating the same sloka again and again, I really don't know what it is going to give you. Maybe you feel it is good. Maybe it gives a lot of energy. We cannot deny that at all. But then when people are waiting for you at home, your own children, your husband, your mother-in-law, and they're so nice, they're not scolding you, they're not getting angry with you, but they're concerned about you, then it is your responsibility to limit your time that you allot for your puja, your mantra chanting, etc. And make sure that whatever they need is also done in time. Look after your children, look after your husband. Unless you do that today, tomorrow when you look back, you're going to regret. The children are very small now. In another 3-4 years, the child who is 7 years today will become 11, 12. And after that, she will not need you so much. If the food is prepared, she will eat and she will go. And the same thing will happen to the next child also. So what are the inputs you are giving them? How are you bringing them up? So you have to spend time with them both in the morning and in the evening. So all this I explained to her, and I also told her another thing. See, this way of spending hours and hours doing pujas and chanting mantras, it's all very good. But maybe if you're a saint or a siddha or a sannyasi who has given up family life completely, why did our rishis go away to the forest? Why did they go away from family life, away from normal living? Because they did not want to get involved in all these things, which you have to do in day-to-day life. If you're living with a family, you have certain responsibilities. They were not interested in that. Their only focus was meditation and to grow more spiritually, evolve more spiritually. So they left all this and went away into a forest, and they lived in caves. So their needs were very few. In the morning, if they finished all their morning whatever they wanted to do, had their bath and things like that, after that there was nothing to do. And they were able to spend all their time doing meditation, chanting, whatever they wanted. That is for them. But you are living in a family. So you have responsibilities. You cannot say, I want to spend 3 hours, 4 hours doing pujas. I cannot look after my children. That's not acceptable. Then I made her understand. But she was also saying, I can understand. I understand very well that what I'm doing is not acceptable. It's not right. And children are waiting for me. Everybody wants me. I really want to limit this and come out and take care of them. But I'm not able to do it. She says, once I go inside the puja room, I don't know, my mind becomes totally engrossed in what I'm doing, and I keep doing it again and again. That's where the catch is. Then I gave her music therapy to bring her mind to a balance where she can allot some time for puja and then also look after her family. And she said okay, and she went and she started listening to it. After about 2 weeks, her husband contacted me and he gave me the information that it is so much better now, at least 50% better. She still gets up at 3:30 and she has the cold bath. So I feel very bad looking at her every day doing this. Why is she torturing herself? But she does it, and then she goes into the puja room and all that. But by 6 o'clock she comes out, and after that she doesn't go back again. She stays with the children until they go to school, until he goes to office, takes care of his mother-in-law, and she does a lot of work in the house. So the time she spends inside the puja room has definitely come down. There is a balance, but there is some more to be achieved. But he said still we are much more happier today and grateful to you. So I was happy to hear that. So when I say this, some of you may agree with me, some of you may not agree with me, some of you may feel that puja and chanting mantras is much more important than cooking and all that, but I don't agree with that, because if you have small children, then this is more important. Karma yoga is more important, responsibilities are more important than the time you allot for your own puja, your own chanting, your own whatever you do for your satisfaction and peace of mind. That can be done when you have your own time. In the case of this lady, once everyone goes to school, to work and all that, after she finishes everything, maybe by 10 o'clock, she can be free. And then she can sit from 10 to 12 and do any chanting or whatever. Nobody is going to be affected. So you need to balance things in life. If you are living in a family, that's very, very important. So think about it, and my request to you is, each one of you may have different thoughts about this topic. What I am saying is what I feel is right. But each one may have a different way of looking at it. I request you all to pen down your thoughts in the comment section so that we can all share our views, and I will also be able to know how you feel about it.